Welcome to the Next Gen Marketer Podcast with your host, Sameh Jarur.
Hello and welcome to a next episode of the Next Gen Marketer Podcast. Sorry, I've been away for a while. It's been kind of crazy for me the last few weeks. We had Christmas and the holidays, and I've been busy too. I've joined Apify, a company that I really love and whose actors I have featured many times in the last few months in the show. So this is a great chance for me to be on the other side. And that takes me to the kind of topic of this episode, which is how do you build an actor on Apify without any kind of technical knowledge? And that's exactly what I will show you today, how I managed to build an actor on Apify using Node.js and TypeScript, although I have no background on both of those languages. And you can do that too. I will show you the exact methodology that I use to create my own kind of AI development buddy that helped me through this process. So that will be the first part of the show. In the second and third part of the show, both of my AI friends, Dr. Merkel, you might recognize him from previous shows, will show you exactly how to use the Apify platform as a user, right? So how do you kind of trigger all those actors for what some use cases? And my new AI friend, Eva, will dig deeper into the Apify platform, including some more technical details that you might have not known about, even if you're kind of a regular user of Apify. So, without further ado, let's get the show on the road. This video is divided into three parts. First, I will explain how to create an actor with low-code or no-code knowledge. Then Dr. Merkel will give a simple explanation of Apify as a user. Finally, Eva will dig deeper into the platform and explain more technical details. For my part, I will create a RAG-based AI buddy to assist you with development. Then I will show you how to cross-engineer an existing actor template to choose the right template. We will then install the environment and dependencies using Apify CLI, push the actor into Apify, and I will also talk more about the input schema, output, and main.js. Finally, I will explain more about different technical elements, including pushing an actor using GitHub and integrating the actor using Connect Actor or Agent Module or the HTTP webhook. All right, let's start. So first thing you want to do is actually build out the AI buddy who will help you during this development process. So what I would do is go to my GPTs, create your own GPT, call it AI Actor Buddy, for example. Right, you can give it a description, AI Development Buddy to help me build actors. All right, and what's key here is you really want to upgrade its knowledge, right? And what you need is kind of all the scraped SDK files or development manuals that you will need for your particular actor. So what you need to do first, of course, is to kind of pick an actor that you want to emulate. And the best way to do that is go to the Apify store at apify.com and really figure out an actor that looks most like the actor that you want to duplicate. So for example, let's say I wanted to duplicate, the website content crawler. It's a basic actor. It's pretty good. One thing you're looking for here is to go to the latest build of the website content crawler, for example, and just go ahead and click on it. Here you will see a full log of the actor, right? I want you to go ahead and copy that to a clipboard, and let's use that as kind of as a basis of our actor. So what you're trying to do here is ChatGPT based on this log. How was this actor built? And ChatGPT will obviously give you kind of all the dependencies and all the components that were used in this particular actor, right? So you can see here that it was using Cheerio, Playwright, etc. So if this is the actor that you want to emulate, you can go ahead and go back to the Apify store under development and go ahead and develop a new actor. So just an explanation on these templates. If you are starting out, I would opt in for a Node.js based template since Apify has the most experience in this and seems easier than Python based actors. Cheerio is really lightweight and fast, so a complete headless browser, because you're not actually rendering anything but does not work well for web pages where there is JavaScript, for example, and does not really emulate a browser environment. The other two, Puppeteer and Playwright, are both good for rendering JavaScript, but Playwright is more powerful, I think, especially if you need cross-browser support or advanced automation features. This is the one I chose to scrape the Apple Ads library because it had a lot of dynamic elements. But I would choose. So let's start with that. You see here they'll give you kind of a template, and the template has resources, URLs with, where you can actually see the resources to learn more about how to build this. So obviously we're not going to do that on our own, but what we are going to do is kind of copy and paste all these links, right? So what you want to do is take all these links, open another, go to Applify, and we're going to actually use that same actor to scrape all these links. And the reason that we're doing that is we are scraping all the materials that we will need to train our AI buddy, right? So that's what we're doing right now. It's taking all the kind of materials that we need, right? So this is an URL about Crawly, which is actually Applify's own product, which is a great open source product for scraping. And we're gonna just take out all the required knowledge. So obviously ChatGPT from the get-go has knowledge regarding some of these like Node.js and TypeScript, but what it doesn't have knowledge is specific knowledge on how to kind of create an actor on the Applify platform. So what we're doing now is actually feeding it with the right type of knowledge, so that when we do ask it questions in the future, it knows exactly how to answer those questions and even help you kind of debug much faster. So once you do that, go ahead and start this actor. All right, so I finished scraping all the materials that I need. You can see I have a bunch of materials on Crawly, on Playwright, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and export, and make sure you can export in JSON, and this is obviously optimized for ingestion by LLM tools. And so go ahead and download the JSON file, right? And what you want to do now is basically just go back to the ChatGPT, and upload all those kind of JSON files here, right? So once you've scraped all the materials and all the development kits and all the SDKs that you need, you just upload the files here, and you have now an AI buddy to help you do the development process. So it's that simple. So in this case, I want to show you how I did it using Node.js and TypeScript. So that will be the next stage. So if you're going to be developing this, my recommendation is to do it on your local machine. So I tested using it both, like on the local machine or using what's called the Web IDE. So my definite recommendation is you do it on a local machine or GitHub, of course. But I think in both cases, doing it from a local machine is more sustainable and it's more stable. So what I would do is open terminal, and the way you can do that is just command, let's say if you're using a Mac. So for my case, I need to set up the environment. And once I opened up the template, it told me some of the packages that I need to do. So first thing that you need to do is actually install Node.js and what's called npm. So you can just go to Node.js. And by the way, you should also scrape this because Node.js, it's likely that of course the training data is already within your own LLM tool already, or ChatGPT. But just kind of for redundancy's sake. So go ahead and download Node.js, then go to npm. Once you do that, you just go back to terminal. Remember, when we went to the Applify console, we picked our own template. So let's say we can use this template, put on use locally. Gives you instructions on how to do the installation, right? Obviously. But what's key here to know, of course, is that you kind of need to download both npm and Node.js. Kind of set it up. Once you do set it up and you have terminal, and you've already kind of developed your own customized AI, If you run into any kind of issues, just ask the AI, and most likely, they'll come up with any kind of fixes for any environment issues that you might get. Okay, so let's set this up. Go ahead and open Terminal on Windows by clicking on Command and Space. Here you will copy and paste this prompt, but change the name to whatever name you want. So for example, let's say we want to create an actor called Apple Ads Library Scraper 2, since I have already created one earlier called Apple Ads Library Scraper 1. I can then copy and paste this prompt to Terminal window. And you can see that the build has started. After it is done, we can, of course, find it by opening a Finder window and finding it here. Now that we have that set up, we need to actually start to create the actor. And here we're going to be mainly working in main.js and routes.js files, which you will find on the source folder. So let's start by opening the Chromium Playwright Orchestrator. If you do not know the command, you can, for example, just ask ChatGPT for the right command you can use on Terminal. Here I can get the command. Once the Playwright window opens, along with the inspector, by default, it will be recording, and there are options, of course, to use the locator option to pick locators. And I go ahead. For example, I can see that this menu, country or region, I need to actually choose the right country and then click apply. I can see the different behaviors of the different menus, and you can see all this is being recorded on the Chromium Inspector window. Eventually we will copy and paste all this info and use it to create a prompt to rewrite the main.js and routes.js files to start building the right code. It will take time to go back and forth to generate the main.js and routes.js files. But what you will do is build different versions of the actor and run tests on it by running this command, apify run, and once that runs, you can run it and extract the logs and dump those logs with your prompt into your AI buddy to help you with any errors or warnings. You can see I added a few more commands to it here because I wanted to purge the cache and not rely on the input.json file for easier testing, and also to detect what outputs are actually produced. I would recommend that you also do this. I will leave all the commands in the comments section. To see what outputs are generated, you can navigate to the storage folder. By the way, the structure of the storage components is also duplicated in the console within the Web IDE environment, which Eva will touch on later. But just to summarize, the dataset folder contains all the outputted datasets, or basically the JSON text blocks that you are extracting. The key value stores house all the assets that are scraped, such as videos, images, configuration files, or metadata. The request queues are essentially outgoing HTTP requests for web scraping or API calls, ensuring that URLs are crawled efficiently or reducing duplication, for example. Once you are satisfied with the output and there are no errors in the logs, you can push the actor to the Apify platform. The first step is to log in by navigating to the root directory of your actor and typing Apify login. You can log in either through a browser or using the Apify API key. I recommend using the Apify API key because the browser sometimes defaults to the wrong browser. To get your API key, go to your Apify console, extract the key from there, and copy and paste it into the terminal. Once you do that and are logged in, you can type Apify push, and your new actor will appear on the platform. Once the actor is uploaded, you may need to work on your input.json file. If any changes are required, you can use your AI assistant to help modify the input.json file. In the previous version of my actor, I had already worked on an input.json file, which is located under the Docker folder. This code translates into the following user experience, UX, for the user. The key for the input.json is to replicate the same behavior as if the user were interacting with the site. For example, the same options to appear in the drop-down field for the time range, or for the country or region field, an array of the same countries as on the site. Go ahead and test the actor in this environment, and you can see the logs in this tab. The ideal situation is, of course, to house your source code in a GitHub repository so that it updates automatically without you having to push on the terminal, with the added advantage of you share. To build an actor from GitHub, we can just start a new actor, for example, like this, and then log in with your GitHub account and link the actor and add a key and then click on the build button. The best thing about Apify is its ability to integrate different actors seamlessly. There are several ways to achieve this, either through generic integrations, which Eva will discuss, or custom integrations, which can be triggered in multiple ways, via your own API endpoint, client, applications, or through HTTP webhooks on our platform. However, my preference is to use the Connect Actor or task here, which offers a more user-friendly UI and simplifies the extraction of variables. For this example, and since this is the Next Gen Marketer podcast, I would like to integrate with another actor called the LLM Dataset Processor. This actor allows you to use the output of one actor as input and combine it with your own prompt to any LLM of your choice. In this case, I want my LLM to calculate the duration for which a certain ad has been running. The first step is to choose the trigger mechanism for the second actor. For testing purposes, it's useful to include the run aborted trigger so you don't have to wait for the initial run to complete before triggering the second actor. Leave the dataset ID blank if you want to trigger based on the run. Next, select the LLM model you want to use, such as ChatGPT, Claude, or others. After that, you'll need to find your API key example by navigating to the API section on the OpenAI API site. Copy and paste this API key, adjust the temperature settings if needed, and enable multiple columns in the output, especially if you instruct the LLM to create multiple columns. When writing the prompt, remember to use the column headings from the first actor. In my case, I navigate back and extract the first impression and last impression data and include them in the prompt. For testing, I will choose only 10 items, click the save button, and then run the test by clicking the test button. Now you can see if the test worked by toggling this log option, and if you navigate back to the actor that houses the second actor in the Runs tab, you will see the output in the same timestamp and numbers of rows that you tested, in this case, 10. And now to explain on how to use the Apify platform, Dr. Merkel and then Eva will take us through the platform.
Apify Store is a marketplace offering a wide range of web scraping and automation tools known as actors. These actors are serverless cloud programs that perform tasks such as data extraction, content monitoring, and more. Developers can create and share their actors on the platform, enabling others to utilize them for various purposes. For example, the Content Checker is a cool actor that monitors a website or web page for content changes. It automatically saves before and after screenshots and sends an email notification whenever changes are detected. This is a highly relevant use case for monitoring competitor updates or even as a PR monitoring tool. Additionally, it can be combined with the send email actor. By using these two actors together, you can schedule reports at different intervals, creating a package that effectively replaces traditional media monitoring tools with a more customizable and cost-effective solution. And now, to complete the rest of this demo, I want to hand over to Eva, who will take you through the rest of the Apify platform. Eva, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Mark. I want to show you how to run actors on the Apify platform. All right, so let's get to it. Let's jump right into the Apify console at console Apify.com. If you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and create a free account. Now I'm going to go to the Apify store to choose an actor to work with. I want to show you something fairly simple in this demo, so I'm going to use Twitter Scraper. The first screen I see after selecting the actor is the Input tab. This is where you configure the actor to do what you want. In case of the Twitter Scraper, you can choose to scrape using a search term, a specific profile, if you want to include replies in the results, and so on. To learn more about each of the settings, you can click the question mark icon. The Twitter Scraper can collect all kinds of useful data, but I want to scrape tweets about Batman because he's my favorite superhero. I'll start the actor by clicking this big green button, and the first thing you'll see after it starts is this big loader. It says that you should wait until the actor gets your data. That's okay. In the meantime, I will explain what you see on the screen. At the top, right under the actor's name, you see a badge that tells you the actor's current status. Now the status is running, but there could be other statuses like succeeded, failed, timed out, and so on. Next to it, you'll find how many results it collected. So far there aren't any, but it will change soon. Here you can see the number of requests. It tells you how much work the actor has left to do. I searched for Batman, so that's one request to complete. If I also searched for Superman, that would be 2 requests in the queue. The usage field tells you how much money you spend on this actor run in real time. You can see that so far, it cost me about 1 cent to get that data. You can also click more details on the right to expand more detailed information about the run, including a nice chart of CPU and memory consumption. Nice. Okay, so while I was talking, the actor finished. You can tell by its status, succeeded. The results are now available in the Output tab. You can use the Output tab to preview your results and export them in various formats. Not all actors have an Output tab, though. It's an optional feature and depends on the actor's author whether they choose to use it or not. Before we move to other things, let's quickly browse the other tabs of the actor run. The log streams the standard outputs of the actor, and it's useful for detailed information about the actor run. Input tab shows you the input the actor was started with in JSON format. You can see Batman right here. Remaining fields are default settings provided by the actor itself. In the Storage tab, you will find more details about the data the actor saved. If the actor does not use an Output tab, this is where you will find your results. Live View tab is only available when the actor supports it, and integrations show you all the integrations that were triggered by this actor run. Start. Here, I'll get to setting up integrations later in the video. Finally, we wouldn't be Apify if all of this weren't accessible with an API. You can find the API reference under the API button, and you can start actors, inspect your runs, fetch results with simple API calls. We also have API clients for JavaScript and Python, but more on that later. Now, if I go to all runs, you can see all my runs of the Twitter Scraper and I can access them and their data. On the free plan, we only store the data for a week. So don't forget to download your data or upgrade to a paid plan if you need more time. If I go back to the Input tab, I can run the actor again, but this time instead of running it, I'll save my settings as a task. Saving as a task is great if you want to use the same actor repeatedly with the same settings. I've also named the task Batman Tweet Scraper to make it easier to find later. To show you why tasks are useful, I will create 2 more tasks for Superman and Spider-Man. I can start all of them just by clicking the Start button. Creating tasks can greatly simplify management of your actors. But this isn't all. When I open the actor, I can find all its tasks under the Save Tasks tab, but I can also see the task name on the Run tab, so I know exactly what kind of run this is. And if I want to see the runs of the Batman task only, I can just open the task and go to its own Run tab, where only the runs of this task will be displayed. Again, all of this can be managed with our API as well. You can easily create tasks, update them, store them, and read their results. Okay, we know what actors are, how to start an actor, how to download results, and how to save its configuration for later. Now let's look at automating the process. Simplest way to automate your actors at a specific time. To do that, let's go to Saved Tasks again. Select the ones we want to run, automatically click Schedule, and confirm the selection. On this screen, we can see that our 3 tasks are already pre-selected. And up here, we see that the schedule is disabled. This means that it won't start any actor runs until we activate it. Cool. I renamed the schedule to remember it better. And now the important part, I want to choose when the actors should start. The default here is daily, but I like my superhero tweets fresh. So I want to get them every 5 minutes to do that. I'll select custom in the dropdown, minutes, and then 5 minutes. For the geeks out there, it's all powered by Chrome expressions, so you can write those manually if you really wanted to. I could also select a time zone, but since running every 5 minutes is the same in all time zones, I'll leave it on default. It will automatically start my superhero tweet scrapers every 5 minutes. And if you're wondering, yes, you can manage schedules with API as well, all right? So now I'll have tweets about Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man scraped every 5 minutes, but I really don't want to come to the Apify console every 5 minutes to read them, right? If only there were any integrations, yes. Well, Apify has an API for everything, so you can build a custom integration for just about any service imaginable, but to simplify things for you, each actor and task can have their own integrations set up right in the console. Same talked about some of these integrations, so you can refer back to that. So that's it for our show today. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to share them below. Until next time, happy developing and scraping.
See you next week and subscribe for more AI hacks with the Gen Marketer Podcast.